Okay, here we are going live on Friday, unless you're watching this in a restream somewhere else later on. But let me jump into this. I get to work with a lot of Vistage chairs and executive coaches, great people across the country. And we're always talking about, leads, handling leads, lead flow, organizing leads, pipeline sheets, all this stuff. And what to be obvious is that you got to be organized in handling your pipeline. And it's an ongoing task. It is something that all of us that are growing a business have to be focused on. And if you lose sight of this and you're not in touch with the nuance of pipeline management, then your missed opportunities will happen and it'll just be bubblegum and toothpicks. And so I want to get into just a highlight of what I was talking with the other day when it comes to lead handling. So if you're looking at this whiteboard down here, what you can see there is leads just generally come from a few different areas. So they come from LinkedIn outreach. Now, we all know we're doing that. So they come from LinkedIn outreach, and there's a lot behind that, but leads come from that cold outreach, reaching out, connecting, getting into conversations. And I'll say that's got to be done the right way. And if you're only doing that to build your business, your practice, not going to work. Most people do that. They all just do LinkedIn campaigns, reach out, and most are spamming. Not going to happen. You got to do cold outreach, which is what LinkedIn outreach is. You can automate it, scale it, but done the right way. So leads can come from that, of course. Then there's events. These are both in-person and virtual events. You've got LinkedIn Live, LinkedIn events. These are free tools. I have them. We all have them. They're fantastic, underutilized. And if you focus on those very strategically, they're awesome. And I've got a lot of clients that are doing in-person events, also lunch and learns, doing, partnering up with different Vistage shares, for example, will partner up in the same territory and do some cool things together. But point is, events are huge. Include them in the build of your practice. And these online LinkedIn events are fantastic. You can, you're doing this one now, but you can pre-record these things. You can go live. And there's a lot of strategy there. For instance, I have clients that I say, hey, interview your prospects, get them do a LinkedIn Live with your prospects. These people talk about their business, interview your current members or clients, get testimonials. So there's just a lot going on with events, but leads come from that. People sign up, people attend, and so forth. Outside lists. So Vistage shares is another example. We'll have outside lists. They come in and bring those in when we're starting out. Or I have clients who cultivate lists from the outside. They have business journals they're following in their area. They're collecting leads from that and working with those. And then, of course, referrals and asking, existing clients for referrals. Maybe you have a, spheres of influence or networking partners that can refer you business. These are all where leads can come from. So now what has to happen is these leads got to go on your master pipeline list. This could be a Google Doc. The way we run it, have a Google Doc that's shared with us, clients, and everybody. And on that is the master pipeline. Now, these are qualified leads only. This is not Tom, Dick, Harry, and Jane that go on here. These are qualified leads. And if you're running LinkedIn campaigns, you know that, if you're using Sales Navigator to do search and reach out, it's an imperfect tool. Good, we all love it, but it's imperfect. And so you can get non-qualified leads coming in. It's okay because you grab those, you filter them up front, and in part of our process, we'll grab connections, get them on a master pipeline sheet, and you haven't talked to them yet, but they can be double qualified. Once you get them on the master pipeline, look at revenue, look at headcount and get the non-quals off there. So my point is the master pipeline sheet is real clean with leads that everyone agrees, hey, I need to convert these people to Zoom calls and get them in my active pipeline and then close them. So on that master pipeline sheet, I'll say too, that it's important to have a few different tabs on there. First of all, you have your main tab on there, the master pipeline sheet. which is all your leads. And then you have another tab. I call it active pipeline. These are people you're actually engaging with. Maybe going back and forth email, you've talked to them, whatever the case is. That's another tab on that worksheet. Then there's outside list. I like to identify that. So you have some subdivisions there on the master pipeline. And what that allows me to do and you to do is that you're focused on these people, hyper focus. Your active pipeline, for example, people you're engaged with that go in there, where are they in the pipeline? Do you need to set up another Zoom call? Have you sent out a proposal? What is going on with those people? And when you think about those people in your active pipeline constantly, they're swimming around your head all the time, then strategy comes out. How do you move them along, through the pipeline? And I love having these discussions because this is accountability, what's going on. And you can get real creative on how you follow up with these people. And part of my discussion I had with this client the other day was that we looked at one of his top prospects, and this woman was posting on LinkedIn, had great stuff going out about her company and stuff, employees, there's photos there. She also was very public on X and putting stuff out there on X about her personal life, public. And so when you go the extra mile here and you're trying to convert a prospect, and a big prospect, highly qualified, CEO of a company, you got to look at these things, and follow through and mention these things as you're trying to convert, humanize the interactions with stuff that your prospect is putting out there. So I go deep on those discussions, but it's part of the master pipeline and why that's so important. Now, very important, when you have this master pipeline, 85% plus of the people that come in as leads are going to be long-term leads. That is absolutely true for the best marketing people on the planet. And so what that tells you then is that you've got to nurture these people. The vast majority are not going to be converted right away. Think about your closing process. What is your closing process timeline wise? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it 30 days? Think about that. But 85% plus are going to be long-term leads. You can't have a discussion with them or an interaction with them where they say whatever they say and you've got to follow up and not nurture them, and just all call them back in 60 days or 120 days. They not even remember the conversation. They might not remember you. And so you've got to keep them warm and fuzzy, really important. And when I'm talking to executive coaches and Vistage chairs, I can't say enough about this. And so how do you nurture somebody once they come into your touch point ecosystem there as a lead? Well, first of all, there's email blog. This has got to be frequent and high value. You're not spamming. This is not you're asking them to, become a Vistage member or become a client or pay for your service or product. It's not that, hey, when can we meet? When can we meet? When can we meet? It's not that. It's guiding, teaching, helping. Email is your distribution platform and a channel to get that content where you're really helping your constituents, your leads, with the content you're putting out there. You're delivering it through email, obviously. And just the whole look of the email, subject lines, how you structure that email, what you put in there is very important for that tool to work for you. And you can measure all that. We love Constant Contact. If you're using that, platform like that, you can see who's opening, clicking, engaging. You can see what they click on. And anyways, there's a big deep dive into email and doing that right. It's one of my babies. I love it. I've got a big subscriber list, and it's just done right. And I love that. So, okay, you got email. You've got events. These are the LinkedIn events. So if you're doing that, as I mentioned earlier, let's say you're doing LinkedIn events. Those are great. And do those monthly. And then you have people signing up. You have people attending. Even just the fact that you're getting a really cool event that's meant to help somebody in front of them, even if they don't attend, but they see it. What does that do? That just builds your reputation of, okay, this person, they're standing out. They're doing something different than every other, person that's contacting me, and they see great stuff going on. So if you're really doing that, that is a top of the funnel scenario where it creates awareness and interest in you. And just if they see it, and then if they attend and get in there, awesome. Awesome. So events are great. A lot can go into that. Then there's content tagging. This is a hack on LinkedIn. Very few people do this, but it is a great way to make sure content gets in front of the people that you want it in front of. So we've all seen this. Go through your news feed on LinkedIn. You'll see it. A lot of people are putting content out there. Mostly they're sharing other people's content. Here's a top 10 list. Go read this article. Article. Nobody's looking at it. Nobody's engaging. And LinkedIn doesn't show it to much of your network, maybe 8%, 9%. If we're lucky, LinkedIn actually shows your content to your connections. So think about this. What you can do is as you have this great content going out, your own original content, you are putting stuff out. So the spotlight's on you and what you're doing and your activity, not the top 10 list or an article over here. Those things have a place, but you got to have your original content. So what you do is you put the content out there, then you edit that content as it's in your news feed, or you just as you're posting it, you in the summary of that piece of content, you can say something like, I'm noticing these CEOs running incredible companies, ... return, little space. And then you mention 4, 5, or 6 of your prospects from your master pipeline sheet. In particular, the active tab, active pipeline, people you're engaged with, mention them, 4 or 5, close up that summary, and they will get notified on LinkedIn that they were mentioned in a post. And if they see it, again, gives you a better chance. So maybe they don't see it, but if they see it, they're on LinkedIn, if they're active on LinkedIn, whatever, there's no way they're not going to go look at it. It's just human nature. If I get a message, hey, you were mentioned in a comment, what does everyone do? You go, who mentioned me? What's going on? So if you do that and you have a lot of content going out, because you've got to be prolific with your content, not spammy kind of good content going out constantly, then you can, for every post, add 5 more people. So at the end of a week, you are hitting up 25, 30, 40 of your prospects with tagging. So you are giving yourself the best opportunity that your content actually gets to the people you want to see it. And so just a wonderful strategy. And that's not a time-sucking endeavor. If you block out, I block out an hour every morning where I just handle my messaging. I do these things, boom, 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 boom. And one of them is doing the content tagging, which when I do that, it takes me less than 90 seconds. So this is just building it into your identity of what you do every week. Okay, then there's navigator engagement. This is a big deal, and very few people do it. Everyone's just taking everywhere. Look at me, see me, here's my service, here's my product, buy it, get on a Zoom, let me tell you about it. You've got to give before you take. And this is true in all areas of your practice. Content you're putting out there, teaching, helping, initial conversations, adding value, big discussion there. But one way, and very important way, and awesome and easy and efficient to engage on the content that your pipeline people are putting out there is through Sales Navigator. And so what you want to do is you want to create a lead list in Sales Navigator of your active pipeline people, or your pipeline people, people that are qualified leads. For sure, your active pipeline people. Create that lead list, not a search list, lead list. Save that lead list, call it whatever you want, active pipeline. And now when you save that lead list, Navigator will start to feed you information on the content those people are posting. So you go to your home tab on Navigator. And there's a few filter buttons in there. You can filter by that lead list. So you can just pull up that lead list on the home tab in Navigator, and then you can further filter by lead. They call it lead shares. So meaning the lead is sharing something on LinkedIn. So now you toggle those on, and then you go through your home tab, and you'll see Navigator just feeding you. Here's your prospect that posted this on LinkedIn. You click on view, side panel pops up, and now you see what they're posting. Take a minute, check it out, and engage with that post right there in that side panel. Again, mention them in a comment on that side panel, which will, when you type the symbol on your computer, Navigator in that sidebar will just automatically pop up the author, your lead. Click on it. Now they're hyperlinked. They'll get notified that you commented, and then say something. Even ask a question if you can get them to engage, and you'll start to see people are putting stuff they care about, obviously, out there in content. But if you do that on Sales Navigator, and again, build this into your day. If you do that for 10 minutes, you can hit up a lot of people in 10 minutes by doing that. And you're just giving before you're taking. You're being interested and curious about what your prospects are putting out there. And it is just phenomenal way to engage with your prospects. So there's a lot below all this stuff I get into and talk about, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how to be organized with your lead flow, pipeline, and nurturing that. Very important, because if you do this systematically, take the emotion out of it, become robotic about it, it's part of your identity every week, and you keep this organized, you'll just see things move along your conveyor belt, and cold will go to warm, will go to hot, you'll close business, and it really is the way to do it. So always, if you ever have any questions, obviously my contact is around this video here. And so just, reach out, love to talk, hear about what's going on with you. So all good. Thanks for checking this out.